Hello and welcome back to our Colonial journey. Today I'm standing in our primary bathroom and behind me is our walk-in closet, which is going to be the next big project. Well, really the first project that I'm tackling in the house, and I cannot wait. I'm gonna give you guys a tour in a second, but if you've been following me for a while, you know that I love closet makeovers. That's kind of where my channel really grew and gained some traction. In our first Florida house, I did a major closet makeover. Part of it was IKEA, part of it was custom built, and it went crazy. It was a 3-part series, and I think it has over 6 million views now. So just goes to show how many people are interested in easy, budget-friendly closet solutions. I'll link that series in the description below, but that is only the beginning of my closet projects. In our second Florida house, I did a smaller built-in wardrobe, also using IKEA, and some glass sliding doors. Definitely on the smaller side, but we made it work. I was also living out of a tote for all of my shoes for the past like 3 years. So I am so excited and grateful to have more space in this closet and more room to grow my shoe collection. And then my husband and I did an entire IKEA Pax closet for his parents. We did tons of units and added some crown molding to make it look more high-end and built-in. I'll link that video in the description below. I also did 2 nursery closets, one for my son Harvey. I installed 2 of the large Pax systems, installed crown molding, and painted them a really pretty yellow color. And then in Montana for my sister's nursery closet, they had a really pretty changing table that they wanted to be kind of the centerpiece of the closet, and then I custom built some boxes on the side of it for some really great storage. So there is so much that you can do with closets. In our closet here, I'm going to probably be using mostly IKEA and hopefully building a custom shoe shelf or a corner shelf depending on layout. I'm still working on designs, so I'm going to give you guys a tour of the space. I'm going to get my measurements and put them into my design program. I'm gonna shop around a little bit, show you guys my inspiration because I have so much great inspiration for this closet. I'm thinking like high-end dressing room vibes with some cool color or designs. I have no idea. My ideas are all over the place, so I'm hoping you guys can kind of help me hone it in. I also would love to hear from you. If you have a feature in your closet that you love or something that you wish you had in your closet, please leave a comment and let me know what that is. So many times we just kind of fly through the design and don't think about some of the features that really make a difference. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on some features that you like. So really quick, before the tour, I know I'm gonna get some comments of people saying the closet is great, why would you touch it? It's got so much great storage, and it really does. It's a huge step up from our last closet, but we are redoing the entire bathroom and adding as much value as we can to this house. And for this price point, I feel like a custom closet is really what people are looking for. So I'm going all out. I'm doing a big closet makeover, but trying to make it as inexpensive as possible, which is always a fun challenge. So I've got my notepad, my measuring tape. Let's go take a tour and then I'll start to get my measurements. So I will walk you guys through how I take my measurements of the space. You really have to pay attention to door openings, electrical outlets or switches, any plumbing features that you might have. You don't want your IKEA units or whatever else you use to be starting or stopping on an outlet or a switch or things like that. So the more detailed that you can be with your measurements, the better. I'm just going to quickly draw the shell of the room as a guide and fill in my measurements. So just drawing a plaques and marking out where my door is. I don't have any plugins. I just have a switch right here, which we're probably gonna have to move, but a good thing to note. Also, might be worth noting where light fixtures are. You don't want to put a unit up and realize that you're underneath a light fixture. Also, ceiling height. Don't forget to measure your ceiling height. So this is what it looks like. Very basic. Let's start with the width. You want to measure from wall to wall and not trim to trim, because you're likely going to take your trim out if you're going to be installing IKEA units. So here we have about 83.5. And if anything, always err on the smaller measurement. You don't want to get your IKEA units in here and realize that you're a ½ inch short. So always err on the smaller measurement if you have to. And then we'll take, and this is 126. Okay, so that measurement is 126. I like to just write my measurements in inches. We'll do ceiling height. Uh, 96. And then there's a door right behind you, so I'm going to measure the door opening and also where the door is located on the wall. I also want to measure and take into account the trim of the door. My door opening is 24 inches and the trim is 3.5 inches wide. The more detailed that you can be with your measurements, the less issues you're going to run into down the road. Okay, also haven't mentioned, I don't know what in the world this is. I'm assuming it is a bar to hang clothes for steaming or like setting out your outfit for the next day. I don't know, but who knows? You can never be too sure. 32 and... Okay. That is it. Here is my rough sketch with measurements. I'm going to put this into my design program so I can get a better idea of layout and play around with a few things. Definitely not necessary. You can just use a good old pen and paper. But if you're doing IKEA or some other different type of organizer, I recommend going online and looking at the exact dimensions of those units and getting an inventory of what they sell so you can play around with different size units and different layout configurations. I took some pictures so that I can kind of take an inventory of what we have and what type of organizers we need. We have no drawers in here right now, which would be really nice to have. We need lots of hanging space, which is one really great thing about this closet is there's lots of hanging space. I would love to be able to still hang up my pants. I found this is a much better way to just like see all of my clothes laid out rather than folded on a shelf. Some of my activewear and stuff, it would be nice to have that in a drawer. And then we have lots of hats and belts and a few purses that we need to figure out some storage for. If we can reuse any of this stuff, then we absolutely will. But we are going to do whatever we need to maximize space and make it as functional and organized as possible. So let's go see what we can do. All right, let's pull up Pinterest and take a look at some of the ideas that I've been saving for our closet. I'm still playing around with the idea of having doors versus no doors. Looking at the width of our closet, I'm not sure we'll have enough room for them, but if we were to do doors, I love the idea of glass panels with fabric inside. I think it adds such a unique character-filled touch. If we decide to go without doors, I think painting the entire built-in drawers, shelving, even the ceiling, all one color, can make the space feel intentional and really fun, kind of like a high-end dressing room vibe, cozy, colorful, full of texture and layers. You guys know we're in a colonial style home, so I'm sticking with something that feels a bit more traditional at its core, but with a playful twist. I love the idea of building a custom shoe cabinet, maybe with shelves of different heights, taller spaces for boots at the bottom, and narrower ones up top for sandals and flats. In these old colonial homes, you see so many color-drenched rooms with rich textiles and unexpected design choices. It's not a room that anyone else really sees, which makes it the perfect place to experiment and have some fun. I also want to play around with lighting in here. We actually have 2 fixtures in the closet, so it could be a great opportunity to try something bold or unexpected overhead. So with all of that in mind, let's take these ideas and see which IKEA products are available to help us bring our vision to life. So for our closet, I'm going to be using mostly IKEA Pax products, and I wanted to show you how I plan my layout using their Pax design tool. Here we're on the IKEA Design Your Pax page, and I love using this planner because it lets you play around with different layouts, frame sizes, and interiors. It's such a great starting point to visualize what's possible. So first, let's customize the room. I know the ceiling height in our closet is 96 inches, so I'll add that in. The overall closet width is about 126 inches, and the shorter wall is around 83.5 inches. One thing I don't love about the Pax planner is that you can't add windows or doors, so you have to mentally keep track of where those are. That's why I usually recreate this later in my design program to get a more realistic idea of the layout and how it interacts with the rest of the room. Now that the room is set, let's look at the Pax frame options. There are 2 standard depths, 13 3/4 of an inch and 22 7/8 inch. If you choose the shallower one, your hanging clothes will stick out past the frame, so I almost always go with the deeper 22-inch option. That allows you to add doors and keeps everything tucked in nicely. For height, they offer 2 sizes, 79 1/8 and 92 7/8. I've always gone with the taller height where possible. It makes the space feel more custom and gives you extra storage up top. There are also 4 main widths, 19 5/8, 29.5 and 39 3/8, and then a corner unit that's about 49 3/4 wide. I'll pull them all up side by side so you can see the difference. Personally, I like using the widest units whenever possible, the 39 3/8 inch ones, because you get the full double doors and maximum storage. Let's add some doors so you can see how those line up. The narrowest frame has a single door. The 29-inch wide has a single door with a smaller panel next to it, which I don't love. And the 39-inch frame gives you those beautiful full-width double doors. The corner units each have 1 small door on either side, which is why I usually try to avoid them if I can. They're not as functional and make it harder to reach things in the back. I'm going to build my layout with just the straight frames and try to skip the corner units entirely. So with the dimensions of our closet, I can fit 3 of the full width frames on the long wall, which would be amazing for storage. On the shorter wall, I could probably fit 2 more of those 39-inch units, but I'll be sure to keep enough space near the doorway so it doesn't feel cramped when you walk in. Now let's play around with the interiors. IKEA offers so many options here. You can either choose one of IKEA's pre-made layouts or completely customize every section yourself, depending on what you need. You can go all hanging, a mix of hanging and shelves, or hanging up top with drawers underneath, which is one of my favorite combinations. They even have pull-out baskets, shoe racks, and pant organizers. Let's use the 39-inch frame as an example. You can add adjustable clothes rails, pull-out glass trays, divider trays for jewelry or belts, basic drawers, glass front drawers, and even those pull-out pant hangers that make everything super easy to see. There are also pull-out shoe shelves that can hold 2 rows of shoes, plus smaller inserts for accessories. They also offer a huge variety of doors, solid, mirrored glass, and even textured or colored options. This green pattern door is one I've had my eye on for a while. They have wood tones too, like a beautiful brown stained oak veneer that would really work well in a more traditional colonial home like ours. If space is tight, sliding doors are another option. We had these sliding glass doors in our last home and they looked beautiful, but the downside is that you can only open one side at a time. So if you're sharing a closet, that can get annoying pretty quickly. They even have optional lighting systems like the dimmable wardrobe lights. One of the best things about the IKEA Pax is how transparent the pricing is. As you add components, it updates the total cost right here in the corner, so it's helpful to know what you're spending before you commit to buying anything. So based on what I've measured, I could fit 3 of the 39-inch units across the main wall, or 4 of the 29-inch frames, or do a combination. We have tons of options. So now that I have a good sense of the frame measurements and layout possibilities, I'm going to take this plan over to my design program so we can start mocking it up more precisely. Okay, so now I'm in my design program called Home Designer Suite. This program is super beginner friendly and I love it for room makeover and interior design type projects because it lets you experiment with almost everything: materials, colors, cabinetry, furniture, plants, you name it. You can even add electrical and plumbing elements, so I can place outlets, light switches, and fixtures exactly where they belong. You can change dimensions, adjust styles, and swap out finishes. The options are endless. So I've already built the shell of our closet so you can get a sense of the space. Here's where the doorway is. Now that I know the dimensions of those IKEA Pax units, I went ahead and built 3 of them in this program. This way I can play around with the different configurations and see what exactly works best in our space. My goal is to do partially custom, not entirely IKEA. I want to use the Pax system as the base and then fill in the gaps with a few custom pieces for added function and character. I already decided to skip the corner units because they're just not very functional and the storage isn't great. So I'm starting with 3 of the widest Pax frames along the main wall. I made them white for now, but you can easily customize the color or material: stained wood, paint, whatever fits your style. With 3 large frames, the doors open comfortably. If I added more units to the other side of the wall, it would definitely start to feel a bit tight, but still workable. The only problem with this setup is that it doesn't leave room for dedicated shoe storage, which is something we really want. We could tuck shoes inside the Pax units, but I think a custom shoe shelf could make the space feel more intentional. I tried a few placements. One option is replacing a Pax frame near the entry with a custom shelf so the closet feels more open when you walk in. Another is adding the shoe shelf to the left wall to create some visual interest and breathing room. I may have gone a little overboard, but I came up with 5 different closet layouts to explore. Honestly, I probably could have come up with 10, but I think these give us a solid range of options. Let's start with option 1. This one uses corner units, and it's pretty similar to the current layout of the closet. It offers the most open floor space, which is great, but it actually has the least functional storage. Those corner units waste a lot of potential, so I'm crossing this one off the list pretty quickly. Option 2 uses 3 of the large 39-inch units along the main wall, 2 smaller 29-inch units on the other side, and a custom shoe shelf. This gives a ton of storage space and a more open entryway since the shoe shelf will only be about 12 to 16 inches deep. Option 3 has 2 large 39-inch units on each wall, a shoe shelf on the left wall, and I also added a small custom corner shelf. It could be perfect for sunglasses, jewelry, or hats. It helps soften the transition into the space. You're not walking directly into the side of a cabinet. Option 4 only uses the large 39-inch units, which provides the most amount of Pax storage and a smaller corner shelf. It maximizes the Pax storage, but it doesn't leave any space for shoes outside of the units, so we would each have to store our shoes inside the Pax units. And finally, option 5, this one's a little unique. It mixes different frame widths for balance, a few of the 39-inch and a few of the 29-inch frames, and adds a full custom shoe wall in the back. It gives a ton of shoe storage, but you'd have to reach behind the wardrobes to access all the shelves, which feels a little awkward and crowded. So while it looks interesting on the screen, it's not the most practical in real life. So that's where we're at. I'm going to sit with these designs for a bit, talk through them with Devin, and narrow it down. I'd love to hear what you think. I'll label them 1 through 5 on the screen, and you can vote in the comments for your favorite. I'll share which design we end up going with in the next video, and then we'll finally start building this thing. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video gave you a few ideas for your own closet, whether you're planning a small upgrade or a full-on makeover like us. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so if there's a feature you think would be a great addition to our design, or if you want to vote for your favorite layout, let me know in the comments below. We'll be finalizing the plan soon and then getting to work on the actual build, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next part of this project. Thanks again for spending some time here, and I'll see you in the next video, hopefully with a finished layout and a game plan to start bringing this closet to life.